Good afternoon, everyone. This is Anthony, Wall Street Trader. It is 4:35 p.m. on Tuesday, August 10th, 2021. We're here to talk about RLC, or iExec. So before we get into the festivities, please note this is not financial advice. The video is intended for educational purposes only. Subscribe below, bell below. Big important one, the big thumbs up will make this thing percolate to the top. We want more folks to see the greatness of RLC and all of the other cryptocurrencies that are related to platform level usage and utilities. So I think all of the ones I cover are right on the cusp of, adoption around building out real future state platforms. Please note that intraday updates are on my Twitter link. It's in the description below. Let's just revisit one thing. So this week's been really busy with crypto, obviously a lot on Bitcoin and a lot even on the altcoin market. Clearly significant strides made. My current RLC average buying price, so I bought it on average, my average price to buy it or average cost basis is $5.04. Now let's go take a look at the RLC US dollar, which is the equivalent of what I bought it at, which is $5. We're still at 371, still paltry on a relative basis. I went a little crazy, hog wild, shall we say, for RLC. We have a nice trend here, something consistent with other altcoins I'm looking at, but nonetheless, the trend's your friend. You want to ride the wave with these things to the extent that you can. Think about, slightly in the future. Think that this is a fairly short-term trend, so don't overthink it too much, but there could be a break here or not. Now, I'm also observing with respect to RLC, and by the way, last week we were kind of in the 314. We're at 371. One major pattern I'm observing here, and I'm going to run through this and draw it because I can visualize it in my head, but not everyone can visualize what's in my head. You don't want to know what's going on in there. But anyway, if you do, I'm drawing it here. This is what we call an upward ascending triangle or upward ascending right triangle. What it generally means is there's some initial huge buying pressure and it starts oscillating within a triangle. Upward ascending triangles are fairly reliable. They generally result in the upside, and the upside is indicated by half the length of the flagpole. This here is the flagpole. The vertical orange line that you see here is the flagpole. And I'm going to zoom in so we can all play along. So the length of this flagpole here, right? If I can just shorten this line out a little bit here so that everyone can see what we're talking about. Now, this flagpole is here, and then you see this wavy thing, which is filling out this upward ascending triangle. Now, again, this stuff kind of ends when it wants to end, but ultimately it probably would end sometime between now and August 18th. Now, what we're saying is that by the time it hits the tip or whatever point it breaks out, we take a measurement now so that we can predict where we think it could go if it does break to the upside. Now, half the flagpole is 317 to 390. Let's just call it 70 cents, right? So 70 cents, once this breaks this line on top of 390, is 460. All right, so we can expect that if we break through this resistance line, we would go up 70 or so cents. So just keep that in mind. These are fairly common. People love predicting this stuff. I'm a big triangle guy, especially with stocks. I'd be happy to share a few ideas with you on a separate video. But nonetheless, we could see a pretty significant jump at the top of this. So again, if we pass 390, odds are that we go another 70 cents up, which would take us to 460. Anyway, that's RLC US dollar. Let's go take a look at the RLC Bitcoin pair. We drew this. This is not a right triangle. This is a pennant. And as you can see, it didn't really fill in the way we thought, but nonetheless, it failed. But we came over this, this loyal support line, this yellow support line here, keeping us kind of afloat. So that's good to see, at least in the short term. Let's see if we can bounce off of that in a meaningful way. Otherwise, if we drop past it long enough, we could be hitting back down to 71.15, which is around 12% less from where we are. Now, going over to Bitcoin, Bitcoin's really interesting. Bitcoin had quite a rally, and if you were subscribed to my tweets, you'd probably have seen this pennant that I sent out, saying that if we did break that resistance line on the pennant, that we'd see 43,000. We did see it. In fact, we've seen a lot more since then, and clearly we are on a trajectory. That trajectory gets us right now. We're currently on or about that green line. We actually went over it. Now, a couple things. This green line was from a prior video I did, several prior videos I did, if you've been listening long enough, from a few months back. What we've observed here is that there is a line of support, which is this green line, up until this point in time, sometime mid-June. We broke down, and we kind of came all the way down to 29,000. You know what? On this chart, it does not look like it was a significant downturn as much as we all probably felt it. Nonetheless, we have regained our control as far as Bitcoin is concerned, and we are back on that green line, which is, and staying on or above it would get us to 80,000 easily by the end of the year. By the way, FundStrat is predicting 100,000, and they're fairly conservative in terms of their outlook. So that Bitcoin dominance, strangely enough, Bitcoin dominance is actually lower. And I think for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's an endless flood of money coming into the market. Checks going out the door. I mean, people don't know what to do with all this money, so we all kind of chuck it in the market. We all want to make more money. So that's exactly what I see going on here, which is why we're seeing something that I don't think would be normal, in the sense that, if dominance is going down, Bitcoin's going up, so it feels like the altcoin market is incredibly bullish right now relative to Bitcoin, which is fine, and we're good with that. I think the money I think overall we're just going to have an outright everything goes up for some time with inflation pressures and again, free money on the rise. So, keep our eye on this anyway, but nothing that's really convincing me that it's going to shake Bitcoin, at least in the near term. So there you have it. So let's keep a look on this one. I'll tweet this one out. This one looks interesting. And just so everyone knows, we also have a relatively decent support line here, which goes back to July. So it's almost 3 weeks, maybe a little more. That's pretty much all I've got, but stay tuned. We'll keep in touch. Bye.